Hello fellow bibliophiles and welcome back to Blatantly Bookish. I'm Marissa and today I would love to share some Jane Austen related booktube recommendations with you. One of my favorite things about Jane Austen July, besides revisiting my favorite novels of all time, of course, is to binge watch the amazing outpour of Jane Austen related content that is produced on Booktube. Obviously, Katie and I both make substantial numbers of Jane Austen related videos, and I'll post our Jane Austen playlists in the description. But there are so many other fantastic creators out there who make brilliant Jane Austen content that is worth checking out. So here are some of my personal favorites. The first booktuber that absolutely must be mentioned on this list is Claudia from Spinster's Library. I generally love Claudia's content, but she also makes some truly inspired Jane Austen content. She's funny and insightful, and you should all go watch her videos. She has a 2019 and a 2020 Jane Austen July playlist, which I will link down below. Some of my favorites of hers include a discussion on Mary Bennet, her video about Jane Austen's Bad Boys, and of course this year's fantastic video about Jane Austen's Mean Girls. So go check Claudia's channel out because she's amazing and she's as excited about Jane Austen July as Katie and I are. The next person I'd like to mention is Rita J. Dashwood. She is very new to Booktube and I just started watching her channel. And even though her channel is so new, I have to say she is amazing. She has 9 videos and 2 of them are already about Jane Austen. One is a thoughtful review of Miss Austen, and the other is all about Austen biographies. And she actually has a PhD in Jane Austen, which is so impressive. I can't wait to see all of the other Jane Austen content she'll create this month in honor of Jane Austen July, and I'm so excited to see her channel grow in the future. Next up is Megan Hannett, or I think she changed her channel lately, Megan the Story Girl. She has a whole playlist of wonderful Jane Austen content. She was actually going to go on a Jane Austen tour of England, where she would visit all of the Jane Austen related locations there. I'm not gonna lie, I was super jealous of this vacation. She had a project of rereading all of Jane Austen on her channel before the trip, and that included some nonfiction about Jane Austen as well. Sadly, due to everything going on in the world, her trip was canceled, but I think she's going to go next year instead. Her videos about preparing for the trip are full of delightful Jane Austen content, so I will link them down below for you to check out. And her channel is also just amazing. And then Olive from A Book Olive is someone I featured on this recommendations video last year, but she has some new and wonderful Austen content this year, so I'm mentioning her again. And in fact, anyone I'm mentioning for a second time has new Austen content since I talked about them last year. Anyway, Olive has a whole series of videos about the psychology of female characters, and she has one all about Lydia Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. She explores Lydia Bennet's personality and actions in Pride and Prejudice as a function of being the youngest sister, and how the parenting of younger siblings gives insight into Lydia's character. I don't know that I necessarily agree with everything she says in this video. However, I do think that Lydia's actions towards the end of the book are certainly attention-seeking behavior, and that this misguided behavior is a misinterpretation of the pressure of marriage that is placed on the children. She does truly believe that she has done what her sisters could not by marrying first, and she doesn't realize that she's put the family's reputation at stake and possibly ruined the prospects for her other sisters and the future financial welfare of the entire family. So I'll link that video down below because it's brilliant. Olive from A Book Olive also has 2 fantastic reviews of 2 books that I also read and reviewed on my channel, namely Miss Austen and The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow. So I will link those below as well. She also generally just has some great content and some other hidden Austen content in her channel. And then there's Tilly from Tilly's Shelf. Tilly is full of love for Jane Austen. She's been doing these wonderful, chatty, vlog-like videos for Jane Austen July this year. She's been reading an underrated favorite of mine, Northanger Abbey, and she has a lovely video exploring the relationships between married sisters that discusses 4 out of the 6 Austen books. Tilly is brilliant and entertaining, and her channel's About section starts with an Austen quote about reading. Need I say more? Emma, the Bookish Princess, has a lot of interests on her channel: Disney, books, Animal Crossing, and most notably for this video, of course, she is a huge fan of Jane Austen. She has a whole playlist of Austen-related videos. I've mentioned her before, but she does have some new Austen content. She's been doing these character maps lately of Austen's books, as well as Lady Susan. She had a Lady Susan read-along last month. She has gift guides, bookshelf tours, Jane Austen related travel videos, so there's plenty of content there to binge watch. And then Jen Campbell is a booktuber who really needs no introduction. Her channel is brilliant in all respects, but I wanted to mention that during lockdown she was reading Pride and Prejudice aloud on Instagram Live. Since then, she's posted video compilations of what was on Instagram. So I will link that down below for you because obviously it is many hours long. It's the full text of Pride and Prejudice, but it's a wonderful, free Pride and Prejudice audiobook that's suffused with Jen's wonderful personality. And you can see all the Instagram Live comments as she reads. It's quite a wonderful experience and something you may consider watching when we move into the second half of July's read-along of Pride and Prejudice. And then I want to quickly mention By the Book. It's a channel that does wonderful analyses of different book-to-screen adaptations, and they've done a lot of my favorite classics, but notably for Jane Austen July, they have done Emma and Pride and Prejudice, so I will link those below. And then there are just a few other videos specifically that I want to give a brief mention to. There is Book Riot's Year of Pride and Prejudice retellings from last year, which is, as it says, full of Pride and Prejudice book retellings for you to check out. If you haven't picked a book retelling yet that you want to read, maybe this can help inspire you. And then I also came across a Rip It or Ship It book tag that was done by Shakespeare and Such, but it was a Jane Austen version. It's this goofy little video with some pretty strange pairings that really make you think. I don't agree with the ones she ships at all, but it's really fun to watch. I might even do one of these myself at some point, we'll see. As silly as it is, it actually makes you evaluate the different characters and take them out of the context of their books and see how they'd interact with each other. It's really fun to think about and really fun to do and amazing to watch, so I will link that below. And last but not least, I wanted to mention Book Break's discussion video about unpopular Jane Austen characters with the author of The Other Bennet Sister, Janice Hadlow. It was really fun to hear Janice Hadlow's opinions on Austen characters and see how some of her ideas carry through to her book. I loved The Other Bennet Sister, and this video was really fun to watch. So I think that is plenty of Jane Austen content for you to binge watch, maybe a little too much if you're trying to get some reading done this month. But all the things I mentioned are linked in the description below. I'm curious to hear about your favorite booktubers who make Austen content in the comments section, because obviously this is not a comprehensive list by any means. There are plenty of fantastic booktubers out there who I didn't mention, I'm sure, and plenty of people who make Austen content that I haven't even seen yet. So are there any Austen-related videos that you've watched lately that you would particularly recommend? I would love to know. Happy reading, happy Jane Austen July, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Bye!